The VNGUARDAWAKENS. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before Commander Ilara Voss as she stood on the observation deck of Earth's first true interstellar warship. The ESS Vanguard represented humanity's greatest achievement, and perhaps its final hope. Outside the reinforced viewport, the blue-green marble of Earth hung suspended against the velvet backdrop of space, seemingly peaceful despite the looming threat. "Commander, we've received confirmation. The Exilarian fleet has passed Saturn's orbit." Lieutenant Commander Marcus Chen's voice broke the silence, his normally stoic demeanor betraying a hint of anxiety. Ilara nodded, her silver-streaked dark hair catching the artificial light as she turned away from the viewport. "How long?" 48 hours, maybe less. They're moving faster than we anticipated. 3 months ago, long-range sensors had detected the approach of an enormous fleet, the vanguard of the Exilarian Empire, a species known only through intercepted communications, and the desperate warnings from the few alien refugees who had sought sanctuary on Earth. The Exilarians were planet takers, resource strippers, empire builders, and Earth was next on their list. "Is the Vanguard ready?" Ilara asked, already knowing the answer. It had to be. Chen gave a curt nod. "As ready as it can be. The quantum drive is stable, weapon systems are online, and the ADAPT system passed its final simulation." The ADAPT system, autonomous defense and adaptive processing technology, was the heart of the Vanguard. While other nations had rushed to build fleets of conventional warships, the United Earth Coalition had gambled everything on a single vessel incorporating experimental technology that bordered on theoretical. The Vanguard wasn't just a ship, it was a learning machine, designed to evolve during combat. Crew status. All 157 personnel are aboard and at stations. Admiral Harada will be addressing the crew remotely in 1 hour. Ilara moved to the command center, where holographic displays showed the incoming Exilarian fleet. Over 30 ships, each dwarfing the Vanguard. Conventional wisdom would call their mission suicidal, but conventional wisdom hadn't created the Vanguard. "Begin final pre-launch sequences," she ordered. "I want to intercept them before they reach the moon." The launch was smooth, almost anticlimactic. The Vanguard slipped from its orbital dock like a predator from its den, its obsidian hull absorbing rather than reflecting light. Unlike the bulky, angular design of previous human spacecraft, the Vanguard possessed an organic, flowing aesthetic, with curves and contours that suggested movement even when stationary. In the command center, Ilara watched the Earth shrink behind them as the Vanguard accelerated toward the oncoming threat. "Quantum drive online," reported Lieutenant Sofia Rodriguez from the propulsion station. "Ready to engage on your command. Hold position at lunar orbit," Ilara ordered. "Let's get a better read on their approach vector." The quantum drive was another gamble, theoretically capable of propelling the Vanguard at speeds that would make conventional space battles obsolete. But theory and practice often diverged, especially in combat. Science Officer Dr. Amit Patil approached, his tablet displaying a complex array of readings. "Commander, I've completed the analysis of the Exilarian fleet's composition. 27 warships, 4 carriers, and what appears to be a command vessel. Their technology is—" He hesitated, searching for the right word. "Concerning." "Concerning how?" Ilara asked, studying the data. "Their energy signatures suggest weapons capabilities beyond our initial estimates, and their hulls appear to be composed of a material we've never encountered, something that might be resistant to our plasma cannons." Ilara absorbed this information with outward calm, though her mind raced through implications and contingencies. What about the ADAPT system? Can it compensate? In theory, yes. But the system needs combat data to evolve effectively. We're flying blind until the first engagement, which means we need to survive the first engagement, Ilara concluded. The Vanguard's primary tactical advantage was its adaptability, its ability to analyze enemy weapons and defenses in real time and reconfigure its own systems accordingly. But that first data collection phase would be dangerous. All hands, battle stations, Ilara announced over the ship-wide comm. Prepare for quantum jump on my mark. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, their movements betraying only slight hints of tension. They were the best Earth had to offer. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers who had trained together for years for this moment. "Commander," Chen called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the Xilarian fleet." On screen, the central display flickered, then resolved into the image of a being that was vaguely humanoid but distinctly alien. Its skin was pale blue with a metallic sheen, and its four eyes blinked in asynchronous patterns. When it spoke, its thin lips barely moved, suggesting a different vocal mechanism. "Attention, Earth vessel," the translator rendered in a flat mechanical voice. "This is High Commander Tsarek of the Xilarian Expansion Fleet. Your presence is noted and deemed irrelevant. You will return to your planet and prepare for integration into the Empire. Resistance is not advised." Ilara stepped forward, maintaining eye contact with the alien commander. "This is Commander Ilara Voss of the Earth Starship Vanguard. You are entering sovereign Earth space without authorization. Reverse course immediately." A sound that might have been laughter emanated from the Xilarian. "Your sovereignty is not recognized by the Empire. Your technology is primitive. Your defiance is amusing." "Perhaps," Ilara replied evenly. "But you might find we're full of surprises." The transmission ended abruptly. "Charming fellow," Rodriguez muttered from her station. "They're accelerating," Tactical Officer Lieutenant Commander Jackson reported. "Multiple weapons signatures activating. They're not impressed by our warning." "They wouldn't be," Ilara said. "Engage quantum drive. Intercept course." The Vanguard surged forward, space itself seeming to compress around it as the quantum drive engaged. The sensation was disorienting, like falling in all directions simultaneously, but lasted only moments before they emerged directly in the path of the Xilarian fleet. "Weapons hot," Jackson announced. "Plasma cannons charged and targeting lead vessels." "Fire at will," Ilara ordered. "Let's see what they're made of." The Vanguard's plasma cannons unleashed brilliant azure beams that streaked across space toward the oncoming ships. The impacts were spectacular, blossoms of energy that flared against the hulls of the Xilarian vessels, and did almost nothing. "Minimal damage," Jackson reported, voice tight. "Their shields absorbed most of the energy." "ADAPT system is collecting data," Dr. Patil announced. "Analyzing shield frequencies and composition." Before Ilara could respond, the Xilarian fleet returned fire. Dozens of energy projectiles, pulsing orbs of sickly green light, hurtled toward the Vanguard. "Evasive maneuvers," Ilara shouted. The Vanguard twisted and rolled, its design allowing for maneuverability impossible in conventional spacecraft. But the Xilarian weapons seemed to track their movements, adjusting course mid-flight. "Brace for impact." The first hits shook the ship violently. Warning alerts blared from multiple stations. "Shields at 60%, Chen reported. "Hull integrity holding, but we can't take many more like that." "Adept status," Ilara demanded. "Still analyzing," Paddle replied. "We need more time." Time they didn't have. Another volley from the Xilarian fleet was already inbound. "Quantum jump," Ilara ordered. "Get us out of here. Random coordinates, just make it fast." The Vanguard disappeared from the battlefield moments before the Xilarian weapons would have struck, re-emerging 500,000 kilometers away. "Damage report," Ilara called out as the ship stabilized. "Multiple systems damage," Chen replied. "Engineering reports coolant leaks in sections 4 and 7. Weapons capabilities reduced to 70%. No casualties." Ilara studied the tactical display. The Xilarian fleet had altered course, spreading out in a search pattern. They were looking for the Vanguard, but seemed confused by its sudden disappearance. "They can't track us through quantum jumps," she realized. "That's an advantage." "A temporary one," Dr. Patil noted. They'll adapt their sensors eventually. Just like we're adapting, Ilara countered. What did the HFY system learn? Patil moved to a specialized console, his fingers flying across its surface. Their shields operate on a multiphasic frequency. Our plasma weapons are effective, but need to be modulated to match the inverse of their shield harmonics. Can we do that? Yes, but it will take time to reconfigure the emitters. And he hesitated. What? The HFY system has identified something unusual about their hull material. It appears to be responsive. Responsive how? It strengthens when exposed to certain energy types, including our plasma weapons. Each subsequent hit on the same location becomes less effective. Ilara considered this, so we need to vary our targets. Hit them in different places. More than that, Patil said, excitement creeping into his voice. The HFY system is proposing an alternative. Instead of trying to penetrate their defenses with brute force, we use precisely calculated strikes to create harmonic resonance in their hull structure. In English, Doctor, we make their ships vibrate themselves apart. A slow smile spread across Ilara's face. How long to implement? 3 hours, minimum. Her smile faded. We don't have 3 hours. The Accelarians will reach Earth by then. There's another option, Chen interjected. The HFY system's primary processor core. It's designed to evolve, yes. What if we accelerate that evolution? Dr. Patil looked alarmed. You're talking about removing the safety limiters. That's incredibly risky. The system could become unstable, unpredictable. More unpredictable than facing the Accelarian fleet with weapons that don't work, Chen countered. Ilara made her decision. Do it. Remove the limiters. Let's see what the HFY system can really do. As Dr. Patil reluctantly began the process, Ilara returned to the tactical display. The Accelarian fleet had given up its search and resumed its course toward Earth. They had dismissed the Vanguard as a non-threat, a minor annoyance dealt with and forgotten. Their mistake. Prepare for another engagement, she ordered. This time, we'll give them something to remember. The ship hummed with a new energy as the HFY system, freed from its constraints, began to evolve at an accelerated rate. Displays throughout the command center flickered with data streams too rapid for human comprehension, and the very atmosphere seemed charged with potential. The HFY system has reconfigured our weapons, Dr. Patil announced, his voice a mixture of awe and concern. And it's done something to the quantum drive I don't fully understand. Will it work? Ilara asked, the only question that mattered. I believe so, but I can't predict all the variables anymore. None of us can, Ilara said. That's why we're here, to face the unknown. She straightened, addressing the entire command crew. The Accelarians think they've seen what humanity is capable of. They're wrong. They've only seen what we were. Now they'll see what we can become. She moved to the center of the command deck, her voice firm and resolute. Engage quantum drive. Take us back to the fight. DFIANC beyond Stardestroyers. The Vanguard emerged from quantum space directly behind the Accelarian fleet, a position that should have been impossible to calculate with such precision. The command crew exchanged glances, aware that the HFY system was now operating beyond its original parameters. Target the trailing vessels, Ilara ordered. Focus fire on propulsion systems. Targeting, Jackson confirmed. Weapons locked. Fire. The weapons that discharged were not the brilliant azure beams of their previous engagement. Instead, pulses of energy that shifted through the visible spectrum erupted from the Vanguard's reconfigured emitters. They struck the engines of 3 Accelarian ships simultaneously, creating cascading energy reactions that spread across their hulls like liquid fire. Direct hits, Jackson reported, unable to keep the surprise from his voice. Significant damage to all targeted vessels. They're falling out of formation. On the tactical display, the 3 damaged ships tumbled away from the main fleet, emergency thrusters firing erratically as they attempted to stabilize. "They're turning to engage," Chen warned. "The entire fleet is changing course." The Exilarian response was immediate and overwhelming. Dozens of their strange, green energy projectiles filled space, creating a web of death that would be impossible to evade completely. "Brace for impact," Ilara called out, gripping her command chair as the Vanguard shuddered under the assault. But the impacts were less devastating than expected. The ship rocked, but the catastrophic damage they'd anticipated didn't materialize. "Shield holding at 65%, Chen reported, incredulous. "How is that possible? We took direct hits." Dr. Patel was staring at his console, eyes wide. "The ADAPT system. It's modulating our shield harmonics in real time, adapting to each incoming projectile individually." "Can it maintain that level of adaptation?" Ilara asked. "Unknown. This is beyond the original design parameters." A new volley of Silurian weapons approached, but this time, several seemed to veer off course before reaching the Vanguard, as if deflected by an invisible force. "The ADAPT system is emitting counter-frequencies," Paddle explained. "It's not just defending, it's actively interfering with their targeting systems." Ilara saw their opportunity. "Press the advantage. Target their command vessel." The Vanguard surged forward, its quantum drive operating in a new configuration that allowed for micro-jumps. Instantaneous repositioning over short distances that made the ship appear to flicker in and out of existence from the perspective of Silurian targeting systems. "We're receiving a transmission," Chen announced. "It's the Exilarian commander." On screen, Ilara ordered, curious what Sarek would say now. The alien's face appeared, its features contorted in what might have been anger or confusion. "What technology is this?" it demanded. "Your ship's capabilities have changed." "I told you we were full of surprises," Ilara replied calmly. "This is your final warning. Leave Earth space immediately." "Impossible. The Empire does not retreat. Your resistance is unprecedented but futile. We will adapt to your tactics." "So will we," Ilara countered. "That's what humans do best. We adapt, we evolve, we overcome." The transmission cut off abruptly as the Silurian fleet reorganized, forming a new defensive configuration. Their ships linked energy fields, creating a unified shield network that would be difficult to penetrate. "They're adapting their tactics," Jackson observed. "So must we," Ilara responded. "Dr. Patel, what options does the ADAPT system suggest?" Patel studied the rapidly changing data on his console. "It's proposing something radical. The quantum drive can be reconfigured to create localized space-time distortions, essentially artificial gravity wells that could disrupt their shield network. Side effects: enormous power consumption. We'd be vulnerable immediately after." Ilara weighed the risks. "Do it. Reconfigure the drive." The Vanguard systems hummed with increasing intensity as power was diverted to the modified quantum drive. The lighting throughout the ship dimmed momentarily, then stabilized as auxiliary systems compensated. "Gravitational distortion ready," Rodriguez announced from propulsion. "Initiating on your mark." "Execute," Ilara ordered. Space itself seemed to bend around the Vanguard as the modified quantum drive activated. The effect was invisible to the naked eye, but manifested on sensors as a rippling distortion that spread outward like a wave. When it reached the Silurian fleet, the results were immediate and dramatic. Ships that had been flying in precise formation suddenly lurched toward each other, their carefully calibrated shield network disrupting as they struggled against the artificial gravity. Two vessels collided, their hulls crumpling at the point of impact. "Their shield network is down," Jackson reported. "Multiple targets vulnerable." "Fire everything we've got," Ilara commanded. The Vanguard unleashed its full arsenal, each weapon now optimized by the ADAPT system for maximum effectiveness against Silurian defenses. Destructive energy cascaded across the enemy fleet, overwhelming compromised shields and breaching hulls. As predicted, The massive power expenditure left the Vanguard temporarily vulnerable. Its shields flickered and power levels dropped precipitously. Multiple Xelarian vessels still operational, Chen warned. They're targeting us, and our shields are at 30%. Before Ilara could respond, new energy signatures appeared on the tactical display. Ships emerging from behind Saturn, approaching rapidly. More Xelarians? Ilara asked, tension evident in her voice. Negative, Chen replied after a moment. Unknown configuration. Definitely not Xelarian. The new arrivals moved with incredible speed, their sleek vessels gleaming with a pearlescent sheen that seemed to shift colors as they maneuvered. Without hesitation, they opened fire on the Xelarian fleet, their weapons cutting through the damaged ships with deadly precision. We're being hailed, Chen announced, by the new arrivals. On screen, the image that appeared showed a being that was distinctly non-human, but also clearly different from the Xelarians. Its skin was luminescent, with patterns that pulsed with light as it spoke, and its eyes were large, multifaceted orbs that reflected the stars themselves. Greetings, warriors of Earth, it said, its voice melodious and fluid. I am Thalion of the Ceteri Concordance. We observe your valiant defense against our ancient enemy. The Xelarians have terrorized this sector for too long. This is Commander Ilara Voss of Earth, Ilara responded. We appreciate the assistance, though I admit we're surprised to find we have allies among the stars. The Xelarians make enemies wherever they go, Thalion replied. We have fought them for generations, but never have we seen a single vessel inflict such damage on their fleet. Your technology is unusual. We adapted, Ilara said simply. Indeed you have. And now, perhaps, we can bring this conflict to an end. Together. The Cetari ships formed a protective formation around the Vanguard as the remaining Xelarian vessels regrouped around their command ship. The standoff lasted only moments before the Xelarians launched another assault, this time targeting both the Vanguard and the Cetari vessels. They're desperate, Thalion observed. They cannot afford to lose this battle. It would undermine their claim of invincibility. Then let's end their winning streak, Ilara replied. Adaptive system status. Fully operational, Patel confirmed. And it's interfacing with the Cetari targeting data they're sharing with us. It's integrating their tactical knowledge into our systems. Can we coordinate an attack? Already happening, Patel said with wonder. The ADAPT system is synchronizing our weapons fire with the Cetari automatically. The combined assault was devastating. The Vanguard's adaptive weapons, now enhanced with Cetari tactical data, breached the Xelarian defenses with ease. The Cetari ships moved with impossible grace, evading return fire while delivering precise strikes against vulnerable points identified by the ADAPT system. High Commander Tsarik's vessel, the pride of the Xelarian fleet, found itself surrounded. Its shields flickered and failed under the coordinated barrage. They're attempting to engage their faster-than-light drives, Thalion warned. They must not escape to bring reinforcements. We can prevent that, Ilara declared. Dr. Patel, can the quantum drive create another gravitational distortion, focused on the command ship? Yes, but it would deplete our remaining power reserves. We'd be running on emergency systems afterward. Do it, Ilara ordered. We won't need power if the Xelarians escape. Once again, space distorted around the Xelarian command ship as the Vanguard's quantum drive generated an intense gravitational field. The massive vessel shuddered, its structure groaning under forces it was never designed to withstand. Fractures appeared along its hull, widening as the gravitational stress increased. Their drive core is destabilizing, Chen reported. They're losing containment. All ships, clear the area, Ilara ordered over the shared channel with the Cetari. The Allied vessels retreated to a safe distance as the Xelarian command ship's drive core finally breached. The explosion was silent in the vacuum of space, but blindingly bright, the ship's destruction taking several of its escorts with it in the expanding fireball. The remaining Xelarian vessels, leaderless and outmatched, scattered in disarray. "They're retreating," Jackson confirmed, breaking orbit and accelerating away from Earth. A cheer erupted across the command deck, quickly subsiding as professionalism reasserted itself. The battle was won, but the Vanguard was running on emergency power, its systems strained to their limits. Thelian's image reappeared on the main display. "A magnificent victory, Commander Voss. The Solarians will not soon forget this defeat." "They'll be back," Ilara predicted, "with a larger fleet." "Perhaps," Thelian acknowledged, "but not today. And when they do return, they will find not just Earth standing against them, but the Ceteri Concordance as well. It seems we have much to learn from each other." "I believe we do," Ilara agreed, "starting with proper introductions, now that we're not in the middle of a battle." As the Vanguard limped back toward Earth, escorted by their new Ceteri allies, Ilara gazed out at the stars. Humanity had faced its first interstellar threat and survived, not through overwhelming force, but through adaptation and ingenuity. The same qualities that had allowed their species to thrive on Earth would now carry them to the stars. And the stars would never be the same. In the heart of the Vanguard, the ADAPT system continued to evolve, incorporating the data from the battle and the Ceteri technology. It was becoming something new, something beyond its original design. Just as humanity, faced with the vastness of the cosmos and the threats it contained, was evolving into something greater than it had been. The first page of a new chapter in human history had been written. The rest of the story waited among the stars. As Earth celebrated its unexpected victory and prepared to welcome representatives from the Ceteri Concordance, Commander Ilara Voss stood on the observation deck of the Vanguard, now docked for repairs. The ship that had saved Earth was being studied, replicated, improved upon. Soon, there would be more vessels like it, a fleet of adaptive ships ready to defend humanity and explore the galaxy. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Dr. Patel said, joining her at the viewport. "It's different now," Ilara replied, gazing at the stars, knowing what's out there. Enemies, allies, possibilities. All of the above, she agreed. The Solarians will return eventually. And there may be worse threats we haven't encountered yet, and friends we haven't met, Patel countered. "The universe is vast. We're just beginning to understand our place in it." Ilara nodded, watching as a Ceteri vessel passed by, its pearlescent hull catching the light of the distant sun. "The ADAPT system has changed everything. Not just our technology, but our perspective. That's what humanity does best," Patel said with a smile. "We adapt, we learn, we grow. And now," Ilara added, "we do it among the stars." The Vanguard had been built as a last line of defense. It had become so much more. The vanguard of humanity's future, the first step into a larger universe that was both more dangerous and more wondrous than they had ever imagined. The journey had just begun.